welcome to my channel. Today I want to make a silicone mold and yeah, this is what I need for it. I have one of those cups. I cut the top off and this will be the rim of my mold for the mold. And I have this like purplish self-adhesive film. Usually I use something else, but I didn't have none there, so I take this one. It works too. So I peel this off, which is not really easy because it's a really thin foil, and I made a tutorial with this foil, pimping up some ugly coasters. I will put the link in the top right corner for you. If you're interested, then you can watch it. So finally I got my piece back off. And yeah, I'll peel the paper off and then I will stick my master on top of it, because this is the thing I want to make the mold of. Press it real good. And what you gotta really think about is the top side you want to have on top has to be, when you're making a mold, on top too. If you put it the other way around, then the bottom will be on top and you wouldn't want that. So here I got this little piece of plastic cut off from my other cup, and this will be the rim of my mold making mold, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. This piece is like cut in the middle somewhere, and I have to stick it back together, and I use some sticky tape to do that. I'm trying to do that while it's stuck on the paper right there, but that didn't work at all, so I had to take it back off and do it like when it's not sticking on there. I got that problem fixed, and now I'm ready to stick this around there. You should see that there is a similar amount of space around that purple thing. I'm bending the edges upward now and trying to stick this on that plastic cup, but that didn't work that good because the foil isn't really, for that matter, made. So what I'll do in the end is I put some painter's tape and glue it all together. This does not have to be really like pretty, it's just so it holds. The silicone is really thick, and it most likely is not going to run out that that tape just as resin would. So now the other side, and then we have our mold making mold finished. And what I have here are some silicone leftovers, or an old silicone mold that I just cut off that didn't work really. So I use those little snips that I just made there to put in the middle of that purple thing to save some money on the silicone. Silicone sticks to silicone, so you don't have to worry about that coming off. You won't see it in the end that you stuff that little pieces in that middle piece. I put as many pieces in there as I could, and I fill it up to the top of that purple thing, not all the way up. I could stick this on the sides as well, but it's kind of hard because there is not much space in between, and those pieces are not really like evenly thick. So I just fill up in the middle. Yeah, and this is how it looks when you put enough in there. I mix my silicone and now I'm pouring it in the middle part, just on one spot in a really thin stream and from a higher position, because I want to make sure that all the bubbles get out of the resin, not the resin, the silicone. And that works best if you pour it from a higher position. And I let the silicone creep into all the crevices and all the whatever there is that it's supposed to be shown in the end. And yeah, as I seen while I do the voiceover that I had much too much silicone mix up, but this was just to empty the bottles out, and that's why I had so many. So, and here you see bubbles coming out, and they are rather large because in that middle piece, those little pieces, they trap the air in between them. And what I do later is I like poke around to get the air out over there. What you can do here is when you're making silicone molds, you can use isopropanol alcohol to pop the bubbles on the surface too, just like you do that on the resin. And here you can see another big bubble popped up. Yeah. So I'm watching this for a half hour or so and checking whether there are bubbles coming up or not, and I squiggle and wiggle with it and making sure that all the bubbles come out, hopefully. Yeah. And like I said, they're gonna be popping up even if it's already like 15 minutes or so in time when you put the silicone on there. And that's why I keep watching it. And this is when I realized that there are some more bubbles and some more air is trapped underneath. So I'll keep poking the middle pieces that are already hardened from the silicone back and forth. Popping some small bubbles still. And yeah, I'll let this run for you so you can watch, but I speed it up. It's the next day now, and my silicone has hardened, and I take it out of its mold. This is self-explanatory, so I just let it run for y'all. I got the mold out of the mold now, and I will trim the rim a little bit. Those pieces you cut off you can use in the next project when you will be making a mold for yourself. It doesn't need to be cut off, but I just think it's much neater when you just cut it off. So now I have to get my master out, and this is kind of hard because this is Alabaster. I don't know how y'all say that in English, but I've been to Italy, and the mountains are made from this. It's just something like marmor. I don't know the word in English. But ever since this is a piece of stone I have there, it's not really like shiny. So it has a little crevices in there and stuff. And that's why it's a little bit harder to get out. And I hope when I put resin in there that it won't be disheartened to get the pieces out of that. Finally, it pops just out, and yeah, a little bit of the silver foil stuck onto that piece of stone, but there's no problem with it. Now I take my scissor and cut off the thin rim over there on the top, and then I'm finished. And here you can see that the inside of the mold is shiny. So here I have some grass flowers, whatever I collected while I was in Italy, and I cut the stems off and I will place them into the mold. All I had are in the mold now, and now I'm pouring slowly my resin in there. And I do it slowly to hopefully not trap so much air in between those little feather things. Yeah, hopefully they will all get soaked up with resin and the air comes up to the surface. It doesn't take much resin, like I put there like an ounce of resin, but I did need only half of it. But it's not really a big mold there. And as you can see, I'm not filling it up to the top because I want to put a black layer on the bottom of it. And because I didn't had not enough of those plant pieces, I placed some holographic foil in the middle of those pieces. The first layer has cured now, and I mixed my resin with a little black pigment, and I drizzled that over the top to make actually the bottom of the piece. And hopefully that looks good when I demold it. And then I have to let it harden, and then it's almost finished. Now it's time to demold, and as you can see, the mold comes off much more easier than when I had the original in there, because that was stone. I think this is the reason for that. The middle part is like really heavy and hard, the silicone. So if you loosen the edges in the middle, it comes right off. And here is the finished piece. I like it. Even though it's not shiny on the sides all the way, I'll show you that later. I still like the way it looks now. Well, the stone that I put in there was not shiny on the sides either, and that's why the mold could never be shiny. Here you can see it right there on the edges. It's like really like dull, but you can polish that if you like, and yeah, that's it. If you like my video, please leave me a thumbs up. This is really important for my channel, and I appreciate it a whole lot. Thank you. Bye bye.